Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, panel, for being here, and I apologize for coming in and out during the testimony. But when I serve on 3 different committees and they're all going on at the same time, as you can understand, there's opportunity for me to do a lot today. But just want to ask rhetorically, I guess, to think about what $7 or $8 a gallon gasoline would mean to seniors and working families across this country. I can only imagine what $7 a gallon gasoline would do, because I ran a small business for 16 years. And I remember in August of 2008, what $4.85 a gallon diesel fuel meant to my business. And we weren't a large business. We're an auction firm. We were running 2 trucks on the road. And I know what it meant to my overhead, because I remember making the phone call to a gentleman who worked for me saying, we're staying home. We're not going to hit the road chasing auction deals like we had in the past. We're going to sit at home and we're going to call our clients and we're going to send emails and we're going to do things to save fuel. So I can only imagine what $7 and $8 a gallon diesel fuel or gasoline means to the American economy. But imagine this. Imagine a gentleman who was picked for Secretary of the Department of Energy, saying that he sees America experiencing just that we need to get used to a European-style gasoline prices of $7 and $8 a gallon. That was his stated goal when he was Dr. Chu prior to being Secretary Chu, Secretary of the Department of Energy. And so it bothers me that we've got someone in a leadership position who believes that Americans ought to pay what Europeans pay for gasoline, when you've heard numerous testimony and comments in here by congressmen and in this committee about domestic energy resources that we could be tapping to increase supply. Congressman Johnson from Ohio very articulately expressed those resources and talked about supply and demand, so I'm not going to rehash that. But it is a supply and demand issue. And I want to applaud this committee and this House of Representatives for passing 3 bills that send a very clear signal to the marketplace that we're going to be serious in the House of Representatives about meeting domestic energy needs, meeting increasing domestic energy productions, whether it's in the Gulf of Mexico or whether it's on federal lands, because we understand that increased domestic supply will reduce the price at the pump for American families. There is no doubt that we saw last week, Mr. Chairman, a 15-cent decrease in the price of fuel, I think directly attributable not only to the 3 bills that we passed out of the House, but also the President getting the message and going on the air on Saturday morning after we passed those and saying that he thinks we ought to increase domestic energy supply as well. And so the message was sent clearly to the market, the speculators, OPEC, whoever you want to point to, that we were very serious about increasing domestic supply, and I think the market responds positively, and we saw the price come down. If we do increase that supply, whether it's natural gas or any other hydrocarbons, I think you'll see the market respond. I was in my home county last week during the constituent work week, and I went out to a gas station and spent an hour and a half talking to motorists that came in and were filling up their tanks. I helped them pump their gas while we carried on a conversation about the impact of rising fuel prices on their families, the impact of the rising fuel prices on their small businesses. And I was amazed that one lady from Gray Court, South Carolina, she was expecting her 5th child. She works about 40 miles away from where we were, and her husband works in that town. They work opposite ends of the spectrum. They live halfway in between. They're spending over $200 a week in gasoline. And they've got 5 children. They're having to make hard, real-life decisions about whether they're going to prioritize putting food on the table and clothes for their children or putting gasoline so that she and her husband can travel back and forth to work. One family had cut off the internet and upset their kids, but they made that decision to take away that luxury because it is impacting their pocketbook. Instead of reaching in their pocketbook to take out a $20 bill to pay for that fuel, they're taking out a $50 bill to pay for that fuel. It's impacting. You know it. You're here today. You're providing that testimony, and we've got to really be serious in this country. I believe in alternative fuels. Don't get me wrong. I believe in a comprehensive energy policy for this nation anchored on the domestic energy resources that we have, on the Gulf of Mexico, the Outer Continental Shelf, all around this great land, and on federal lands that have been taken off the table by this administration for domestic production. And once we increase the supply, regardless of what world demand is, if we increase supply in this country, you'll see the price go down to the pump, and it'll impact positively this time the folks that you're here to represent. So thank you very much, and God bless you.